So hello and many blessings to all of you out there. Welcome back. I just am looking forward to speaking to you today about the roller coaster of life. So have you ever noticed that there's a time in your life, or many times in your life, where it seems like there's so many highs and so many lows, and you're up and then you're down and you're up and you're down. And if you even look back at your life, you notice that there's so many ups and downs in your life. And you would love to be in a place where you're experiencing less anxiety, less fear, less doubt, more confidence, more peace, more calm, more ease, more grace, more trust. And yet, it's tough to trust, it's tough to feel calm when you're on a roller coaster, when life seems to keep delivering something that you want one day and then three things that you don't want the next day, or over a week, or over a month. It's difficult to trust in all of these things, these highs and these lows of life. So how do we move through this, or how do we get out of this? I a few years ago was I got a notice in the mail from the IRS. And whenever you see a letter from the IRS, you already, for me, my stomach drops. I feel tension. It always goes to my belly first. So that's where I know where my tension, where my stress holds, or where it starts. So I opened the letter as quickly as I could, because I'm not going to wait to open the letter. And it's letting me know that I'm getting audited. And I'd never been audited before. And immediately my mind is freaking out. I'm freaking out. It's like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. What's going to happen? And every story possible goes through your mind. Am I going to jail? Am I going to lose all my money? And none of it has to make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not that I was doing anything wrong. It's just that I'm getting audited. But the mind is freaking out of any possibility of anything going wrong is going to go wrong, the mind believes. So I have a few months to prepare, and literally these 2 months it's chaos in the mind, terror. So when you have these things going on, how these lows, I had highs going on in the middle. I was getting new clients. Things were going well in so many parts of Veronica and Maya's business. And then I'm getting audited. So there's these highs, but then there's these lows. And of course, what we're doing is we want the next high. We clamor for the highs. We try to stay in the high state. And then we resist, we hate, we run, we judge, we do everything we can to clamor out, to get out of those lows. Is there another way? Because what we do when we're riding that roller coaster of life, and life is going to present the roller coaster. There's going to be audits. You can't bypass getting audited if you're going to get audited. You can't bypass somebody getting sick. You can't bypass eventually you're going to die. You can't bypass that you may lose your job, or things may change. A partner may come, a partner may go. You can't change these things. You can do the best job you can. But the reality is things are going to happen. Stuff is going to happen. People are going to leave. People are going to die. People are going to get audited. And it's stressful. There's things that come in that are stressful. It's not to say that that we're here to not experience stress. It's really about a choice of, can we trust in the process? Can we trust that this is how life is going to present itself? It's going to present highs, it's going to present lows. But we don't have to ride on the roller coaster of life. We can be steady through the roller coaster of life. It's almost like we can walk next to the roller coaster. Yes, we are going to go through it. We're going to experience some of these things, but we don't have to ride it. We can ride steady through it. How do we do that? Good question. So I'm getting audited. Every fear, every doubt is coming up. Every end of the world scenario is happening in the mind. And anything I do, I meditate every day, and meditation wasn't going to stop it. The mind was just scrambling. The more I resisted it, the more I tried to stop the mind, the louder it got. So it's not about trying to stop the mind. It's actually about recognizing this is what the mind does. Okay? The mind, there's a part of the mind, the limbic system in the brain, that is set up as a flight or flight response. And it's set up so it's trying to protect you from death. And if we're in the woods and there's a roar from a tiger, then that part of the system is set up so you run and hide. You find cover. You make sure you take care of yourself so you don't die. Now that same scenario is running against, that same scenario is running every time something negative happens or might happen. It's the same protective energy. It's trying to protect you from death. But it's all of these things that are actually not in reality things where you're going to die from, but that immediate response is fight or flight. I need to protect you. It's something negative. And the mind is, that part is, there's a system in there trained to go to the absolute worst possibility so you can be prepared for that possibility. So if you get audited, then the mind will immediately jump to what are the worst possible things that could happen. I could lose all my money. I could go to jail. I could lose my business. Losing a lot of money is probably the big one, but all of these scenarios are possible. So all of a sudden, all of these things that are possible but not probable jump to the front of the mind, and that's what the mind focuses on and recycles it 10,000 different times, tries to find a way out of it, tries to find a way to no longer be audited. How do I get out of this? How do I protect myself? So the mind's going to run through that scenario as long as you're going through the audit or through a health issue or through whatever the issue is. You lose a job and try to find another job. So the mind's going to be going to the negatives. So we've got to know that this is part, so it's important to know that this is part of what the mind does. But just because your mind or your thoughts, this is where your thoughts are going, that doesn't mean you need to be pulled on this roller coaster of chaos in your mind. Now, how do you separate from that? Because you're going to be hearing the thoughts. Just like my amazing cat over here. You can't see her, but she's sleeping right now, but an hour ago she was screaming for food, like constant. Now, typically that screaming can be annoying and you can get pulled by that and lose yourself in it and get really frustrated. Or you can just know it's around feeding time. This is when what we call her during these times is Monsty, Stella Monsty, Monsty Stella. Monsty starts to get really agitated and begging for food and will be persistent and not give up. So once I know that, I can still get frustrated. It's not that I don't get frustrated, but I recognize what the issue is. And I know how to remedy that. I don't need to fight her. I can just feed her and I can tell her, look, you still got a half an hour. You're going to have to wait. And it's my choice to make you wait. And I'm going to put up with the screaming. Okay. I'm going to put up with the meowing and the begging and etc. So once you know the process, this is what the mind does. It's going to focus on the negative. It's going to try to protect you by focusing on the negative and trying to get you out of that. It's going to keep cycling that through constantly when you're in the heat of it. So once you know that, then all you have to do is first recognize that that's what the mind is going to do. And you are not just the mind, you're something much greater than the mind. So what if you just create space between you and the mind? Like whatever thought you're having as I said that, can you now recognize you just had a thought? I either believe that or I don't believe that, or what is he saying? So can you recognize, I recognize that I just had a thought. So that part who recognizes that you have a thought is the witness. So can you witness all of this and not get so attached? And can you start to identify more with the witness than the thoughts? So the reality is, as my guide Shankaracharya says, you can make friends with the mind. You're not your thoughts. So when you're not your thoughts, you actually have the choice to empower the thoughts that serve you and drop the ones that don't serve you. So literally you can empower the thoughts that serve you, and the ones that don't, drop them. So literally so then you have the opportunity. Then there's an opportunity of, you're not being run by your thoughts. You get to empower which thoughts you run with. You get to empower the thoughts that serve you. So that's making friends with the mind. So you don't tell the mind you can't think that. You just go, you know what? In reality, that is a possibility. But you know what? I'm gonna promote, or I'm gonna serve this thought that unfolds where everything unfolds perfectly. Everything is fine. The audit's going to go well. My health is going to improve. I'm going to serve that. And any thought that promotes that possibility, or even the thought of, I'm okay with whatever unfolds. If I lose money, I lose money. If my health goes poorly, it goes poorly. So be it. I'm going to be okay. I choose to be okay through this. What about that thought? So these thoughts, it's so easy to get ensnared by them, but if you start to witness them and recognize you're not your thoughts, you can begin to create a relationship with your thoughts rather than being run by your thoughts. So what would it be like to say, yes, I choose to empower that thought. No, I choose not to empower that thought. Because the reality is, they're only thoughts. They're like ghosts. Thoughts are like ghosts. They have no power over you unless you give the power to them. If a ghost is running at you, it can run right through you and nothing will happen to you. But if you start running from the ghost or fighting the ghost, you're more likely to be in a different state of fear, of chaos, of maybe even harming yourself by running away and running into something, falling down the stairs, etc. So, bottom line, all you have to do is recognize that the mind is going to run amok. That's what it does. And you don't have to run amok with the mind. So witness the mind running wherever it goes. Recognize that these thoughts are just thoughts. They're not true. You can even ask, is this thought actually true? And if the answer is, I don't know, it's a possibility, but is it true? No, it's a possibility. Okay, well, log it as a possibility, but then do we have to keep recycling this all day? So then you can start to make friends with the mind. Mind, you can think whatever you want. I'm just going to choose how I hang out with you, or what I really enjoy with you, or what I really enforce with you. It's just like my teacher would use the example of, if you don't want to drink and your friend wants to go have a drink, you can say, friend, go ahead and go have a drink, but I'm not going to go with you to have a drink. I'm not going to go to the party and go out drinking. But what I'll do, have a great time, but let's set up a different time where we can go to a restaurant and just hang out and have tea and have a meal. So I'm not going to tell you not to go drink, but what I will do is choose not to go drink, because that's one of my choices. And we can just set up a different time to spend quality time together doing that's something that we both enjoy, that also supports what I'm here to do. Okay, so you can do that with your mind. Befriend your mind. Don't get lost in your mind. And when you do that, peace is eventually assured. It's just, when I say eventually, all you've got to do is just keep reinforcing the positivity, keep reinforcing the possibility. Recognize all possibilities and trust. Open to the possibility that trust is one of the possibilities. I hope this is of service to you. Lots of love to you, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Many blessings. Until soon. Ciao for now.